Hi, my name is Alexandra Adler, and I had the opportunity to interview a wonderful woman named Polina Zhornitskaya. Polina Zhornitskaya was born into a Jewish home in the small city of Tuchin, Ukraine. Growing up before the war, she and her family were able to keep the Jewish laws and customs without having to hide it. Her mother kept all the Jewish holidays, had separate dishes for meat and dairy, and lit candles for Shabbat every week. There were even a couple of synagogues and Jewish schools in her town. Polina was raised speaking Hebrew and was always surrounded by Jewish faith. In the year 1941, when Polina was just 4 years old, the war broke out. Her mother, who was pregnant at the time, she, her father, who was not drafted because he was blind in one eye, and her 10-year-old sister were immediately taken to the Dead Loop, a starvation camp located in Ukraine. The word starvation camp tell it all. Food was rarely given. The weather was cold and brutal. The living conditions were unbearable, yet they persevered for 4 long, harsh years. In 1942, her mother gave birth to her little sister Frida in the concentration camp. One non-Jewish Ukrainian family offered to take the child and raise her as their own. Polina cried and begged her mother not to give Frida up, saying that Frida would die if she would be raised by that family. Her mother listened to Polina's cries and kept newborn Frida with her. Just a short while after Frida was born, the Russians, who fought for the Nazis, arrived to recruit young people to work in Germany. The soldiers spotted Polina's mother with baby Frida in her arms and said that a young woman like her should come to work. They demanded that she drop her baby into a nearby pile of newborns. She refused, so they knocked the baby out of her arms and forced an elderly woman to drag Frida into the pile. Polina's mother begged and pleaded the soldier to let her go to her children so she can give them her teapot. She believed that teapot would save them, and miraculously, it did. They let her return to her children, and in the end, she was not taken to work in Germany. The Dead Loop contained 22,000 Jews, but only 350 Jews survived. Unfortunately, Polina's older sister is not included in those 350 survivors. She and Polina had the same illness, however, her sister did not make it through. When the war finally came to an end on March 14th, it really wasn't the end. Some people walked home, some people were very ill, some people couldn't find their family. Polina and her family went back to their hometown, only to find their house in shambles. Polina's father had lost all 11 of his siblings, and her mother had found only one brother alive out of her 6 brothers and sisters. Now they faced the difficult challenge of trying to rebuild their life back to what it was before the war. Jews had to keep their horrifying war stories from the war a secret. Jews could not practice their religion freely any longer. Jews were shunned by society. Things were different than before the war. Now there were no Jewish schools. There were very little Jews living in the area. Any Jewish customs they performed had to be concealed. Polina's mother still tried to keep the customs the way she did before. Polina's father prayed the prayers that he remembered. The small amount of Jews that were left in the city were always helping each other out, helping keep the Jewish faith alive. The Germans tried to annihilate the Jewish nation, but they did not succeed. Our grandparents and great-grandparents stayed strong. They picked up the pieces of their broken lives and put them back together. They established our thriving Jewish communities that we have today. Polina showed me the Holocaust through a child's eyes, through her eyes. Her words have left a tremendous impact on me. They have encouraged and inspired me to stay strong against adversity and to be proud to be a Jew no matter what.
Thank you, Alexandra, in appreciation for this certificate. And finally,